everyone, welcome to another episode of Rico'S Rants. I am Rico. Today I'm going to be talking about a film that is recent enough where a lot of people are kind of aware of it and not really aware of it. Sort of like a indie film. I don't think it was really got a whole lot of theatrical release. It's called Miss You Already. And I chose this film specifically because I just watched it last night. Unfortunately, I don't own the copy, so I can't give you a poster or anything like that. I'm still in the mechanics of figuring out how to, edit photos and cut videos and stuff like that. I do have the disc, and it doesn't really help, but I got this at work, and I can at least show you what the font looks like. It's sort of hard to see. There you go. Miss You Already. It stars Drew Barrymore and Toni Collette, and the whole point of the film is it's about these two women who start out as friends and basically become inseparable. They just are the best of friends. They do absolutely everything together. Everything so much where it's like they share their first kiss with a boy together, like they both kiss the same boy in the beginning. Um, they they just every photo of one of them has the other one with them, and sometimes they both take selfies at the same time. I mean, it is a like current thing, but like it's almost like they were doing it way back when. I like this film a lot. It was really pulling on your heartstrings a lot, and I never really was a big crier when it comes to films. It was a recent film, which I will review at some point, opened the floodgates, and I think just being sort of, growing up and losing a little bit of your childhood kind of makes you cry a whole lot more. So I've been crying a lot, and I did cry at this film. My girlfriend was in the other room, dead asleep, and I am just like sobbing out in the living room, just like, oh my god, I can't do this. So there's a lot of heartbreak and there's a lot of emotional issues. Basically, they are friends and they sort of go their separate paths, as friends do tend to do, but they always stay close together. Meaning that they grow up, they get different careers. One of them, played by Toni Collette, is more of the wild girl who like marries a rock star, who is played by Dominic Cooper, who I've been really enjoying his work. He did a great he was fantastic in a film called The Devil's Double, where he played Saddam Hussein's son and his son's double. So it was a real interesting dual role. And he's a British actor, and that's a big part of it, is the fact that this is set in England, and Drew Barrymore plays an American who moved to England when she was a little girl, and because she was a loner and didn't understand English customs and jargon and anything like that, Toni Collette's character, who in real life is Australian but in the film is British, sort of takes her on as like, okay, I'm going to teach you how to like be British basically and everything. So Toni Collette's character marries a rock star, sort of the wild girl, and Drew Barrymore is sort of the more down to earth, more interested in just starting a family. There's a big whole thing about how she is trying to become pregnant and has been unsuccessful so far with her husband, who is sort of a goofy, hardworking guy. Does what needs to be done, has to go to an oil rig kind of thing to pay for fertility treatments, whereas Toni Collette and Dominic Cooper's characters are just like, we have money, and they have two kids, and there's a lot of eccentricities how they raise their children, because they're sort of like kids that had to grow up but are still maintaining that that kid idealism where they're like, oh yeah, we're gonna be friends with our kids, but we're also gonna raise them. Whereas Drew Barrymore is just like, I'm going to be a mom. That's all I'm going to do. And there's a lot of one of the issues that I can tell you that won't spoil the film is that Toni Collette's character is diagnosed with severe breast cancer, and she starts chemotherapy, and there's a whole big thing how she tells Drew Barrymore's character first, and then like waits like a week to tell her husband and then her children. So that there's that really interesting connection that they have, and how at the same time Drew Barrymore has finally successfully become pregnant, but doesn't want to reveal to her best friend who's going through chemo and struggling with life right now, and has sort of been bitch slapped with life, and is sort of now aware of her own mortality and how she may not make this, journey, may not watch her kids grow up, may not see Drew Barrymore, anymore. And there is a falling out that they have at one point where Toni Collette's character becomes more impulsive and wild. Just basically, I have to live life now, and she and her husband are not really getting along at this point, just due to the stress and the fact that she's embarrassed of how her hair's falling out, and how she feels he doesn't find her attractive, and blah 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 blah. So they have a falling out where Drew basically reveals that she is pregnant, and how she didn't want to ruin it for her friend, not ruin, just take the spotlight away. I don't know how to phrase it. It's basically just one upping. Like, oh, I'm sorry that you're enjoying being the cancer girl, because she does. Toni kind of, takes advantage of it a little bit. Like, oh, you're gonna give that type of service to the cancer girl, like that type of thing. And so they have a big falling out, and I'm not gonna ruin the film. The film is very well done, but I have to admit, I'm very biased because I'm a huge fan of Toni Collette. I've always I never really got who she was as an actress, because despite the fact that she is a hard-working actress and works all the time, and is an excellent actress, she is not a star. So she's not really in these big-budget films. The only big-budget film recently that I can think of that she was in was Krampus, which did very well commercially, but it was going up against like Star Wars and all these big budget films. And I loved Krampus. I thought it was very entertaining, in the vein of like Gremlins. It was a holiday horror film and sort of an anti-Claus type of thing. And she's great in it. She's always great. I'm a big fan of her show that she was in, which I'm really disappointed was canceled. The United States of Tara. If you really want to see an interesting, well done show, it's United States of Tara. It is on Netflix. Currently, we have it at my job over at the video room. Not that if you're not living in the Bay Area, it doesn't do you any good. But if you can find it, I implore you to watch it. And I could do a whole segment about that show as well. But Toni Collette, I've always loved. She played the mom in The Sixth Sense, and I think she was nominated for an Oscar. And I think that was it. Like, she's been in Little Miss Sunshine. She's been in a lot of stuff, and you're always kind of like, who is that actress? Brilliant actress. Every film I've ever seen her in, she does a different accent, and just sort of embodies that character. So, and I gotta admit, her character in this film I didn't like, which made me like her as an actress even more. Drew Barrymore, she was really good in this film, but Drew Barrymore for me has always kind of played the Drew Barrymore type. I can't look at her without thinking of, E.T. or Charlie's Angels. She's just always got that same, I'm Drew and what's going on, and like very kind of Valley Girl, party girl voice and demeanor, and I know she's not like that, but it's just, I do really I was more interested in Toni Collette's character because the whole thing is really about Toni Collette's character in general. So I did cry. It did make me sad and really kind of my friend moved to LA recently, which is not that far from me, but we were inseparable for 11 years. Like we were always around each other. I do have another close friend. I have close friends. I don't have a whole group of friends that I kind of see every once in a while. I have a bunch of close friends. And I've gone through that whole splitting type of thing where we don't see each other as often, we don't talk as often. I don't know if it's a man thing where we just don't, we just sort of drop each other for a couple of weeks and then just sort of, hey, what's going on? That's not the dynamic that I understand with girls, and especially in this film, is that these friends in this film were all about sharing everything intimate with each other. Like, if my friends and I, like, yeah, we'll go to each other's weddings and stuff like that if it gets to that point, but like we're not gonna have our first sexual encounter together. It's not, we're like, hey, we need to do this together. Like it's different for guys. So I got that sense of longing for my friend, even though he just moved away, and I guess it's because it's still fresh, that whole thing. But yeah, I can definitely recommend this film. I will, out of 5 stars, I'm gonna give it a 3, and I know that's sort of becoming like a reoccurring review like number for me, is because it didn't wow me, but it really impressed me. I'm sure that something like, I mean, I'm planning on seeing Captain America: Civil War soon, and again, I am biased for comic book movies, and I'm sure that will wow the hell out of me. And considering what I've heard about it, that will probably get 5 stars. I mean, bear in mind, I would give Goodfellas 5 stars. I would give Schindler's List 4 stars. I thought it was a fantastic, but I would give Jurassic Park 5 stars. See, so I'm very unique in terms of my ratings, but I would give this 3 stars. It kind of felt like it overplayed the sentimentality a little bit too much. So let me get to the bad parts of the film. The bad parts is that it tugged at your heartstrings too much, and it felt like that was the whole aim. Like, yeah, life is tragic, but it doesn't necessarily mean films have to be too tragic. There was a lot of scenes where they were having fun, but there was more scenes of them not having fun, and it was just an uncomfortable viewing. And like I said, that's why I like Toni Collette's character so much, because she made me not like her character. I was sympathetic to her situation, but I was like, well, you're not handling this the right way. I get that you are trying to grab life by the throat and enjoy it, but she's gallivanting in bars, she's flirting with guys, she's sleeping with guys that are not her husband. It's like, I can't imagine what I would do in her situation, but I would want to be as close to my family as much as possible, not ignore my family. But again, I've never been in that situation, so I can't really honestly say what I would do. But I can recommend the film, and once again, it is called Miss You Already, and you can interpret the title as you will. It could be interpreted as, like for me, like my saying goodbye to my friend, like, dude, I miss you already. Or it could be saying goodbye to a loved one, that has passed. God, I miss you already. But the whole line is a reoccurring line, where as they're saying goodbye to each other, even though they are going to see each other tomorrow or the day before and so on and so forth, they see each other every day. There's like, miss you already. And, again, that I think is a girl kind of thing. Guys don't do that. Me and my friends don't do that. I mean, I did say to my friend as he was like, we had a, sort of tearful on my part goodbye a couple days before he left, and I said, dude, I miss you already. I can't do this. So 3 stars, great film. I think the director was Catherine Hardwicke, and I think she directed Thor 2. She was going to direct Thor 2. Honestly, my whole thing about reviewing films is I'm not really focused too much on who played who did what, who produced this, who directed this. It's more about what the story is. That's all I'm about is story. If the story interested me, then I'm going to review it. I don't really care too much about who did what, you know. But again, I mean, I had to give a shout out for a standout performance of Toni Collette. So see if you can. Let me know if you liked my video. Let me know if you would what films you would like me to review. Please comment and like and subscribe. And thanks a lot, guys. Love you all. Ciao.